Sessions and On That Note, and I am here with the talented Taylor Muse from the band Quiet Company here in Austin. Thanks for coming over, Taylor.
Thanks for having me.
It's been hard for us to get our schedules together, so
Yeah,
I'm glad that you could make it.
We're very busy people.
You are a very busy person, you and your band. So I have just gotten into your band over the past 6 months, and I like you a lot, and have been enjoying the live shows and enjoying the recorded music that I've heard. But for the people who don't know Quiet Company, maybe you could describe the band. How do you describe it to people when they ask you what the band is like?
I never really know what to say. I don't think anyone ever really does. And it's not that it's like so like you can't categorize it or anything, but I just don't know if I can give an accurate description. I would like to tell people that it's like a louder version of like White Album era Beatles mixed with the Smiths or something, but I don't know if that's true or not really. So yeah, I guess that's what I'd say though, if you ask me.
Okay, and so when I describe it to people, I kind of explain that it's a high energy pop band that has pianos and a lot of arrangements, sometimes with other instruments like horns and things like that, just so they kind of have an idea that it's different than the average band.
I think that I read something a while back. We played a show with another band in town called Golden Bear, and this was quite a ways back. I'm not sure if they.
Yeah, I was
heard from those guys in a long time.
Neither,
but they were great. But I remember reading a review of the show a few days later, and how they kind of talked about how we played and we had this like big like orchestral sound and stuff, and then Golden Bear kind of not really, I wouldn't say that we sound like them at all, but they kind of did the same like big arrangements like horns and strings and stuff. And the person said like maybe Austin is starting to have an Austin sound. Yeah, like that's like a scene that's happening right now. Yeah, and I don't know if that's true, but I kind of feel like it might be, because we certainly have kind of fallen in love with the horns and big arrangements and stuff, and it's just something different, that not a lot of people are doing. And to me, it just adds such a interesting texture to rock music, and to have the horns in there, and like the Beatles did it all the time, and it was always great. And then people just stopped doing it, you don't really hear much about in the 90s anyone using horns that much, unless you were a ska band, and if he wants to be in a ska band.
Well, you hear the Ben Folds comparison, I guess, because of the keyboards, pianos. But your vocals a little bit too. Really? I was finding, I just always, whenever I hear that, I'm like, these people don't know how poor of a pianist I am. Clearly, it's the energy, I think, of the keyboards and the performance. Like
these people just really don't see like how he's so good.
He is.
How I am not that good.
He
at
is
all.
Really good, and so you should just take that comparison as a compliment and
go
with it.
Not at all an insult, for sure.
So you were in Isley. How long were you in Isley?
I was technically in Moss Isley.
Okay.
We were called then.
Okay.
I was.
Which was what year?
I think I started playing probably. I moved to Tyler, which is where they're from. I was living in White Oak, which is about 30 minutes away. So I moved to Tyler and was going to college there. So I probably started playing around in 2000 or so. And probably stopped sometime near the end of 2001. Okay,
so a short time with them. Yeah. What was sort of your role there?
I played bass for them, and it was very, like, my position in the band was, I always definitely viewed it as an interim. Like, they just didn't have anybody, like, I was around and could do it, so might as well do it. Like, I'd borrow gear every time we played, from a friend who played bass. So yeah, I didn't get to do anything cool with them. Like, I got to play the really shit shows where there's nobody there, and then I quit the band, and 6 months later they're on tour with Coldplay.
You've been in a lot of different bands, and so maybe, you can talk about what's different about the lineup that you have, the people that you're playing with now.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of bands, and a difference with these guys, and I've played with some great people, like some really, really great people. They're very talented. I mean, I would say everyone that I've played with is very talented and very, very good. And for the most part, I've played some real assholes. I'll say that. But for the most part,
it's unavoidable.
They're good people. Yeah. The lineup. What's different about this lineup is I think that we've all reached a certain age. Like we've all been doing this for a long time and are kind of all in the same boat as far as like we've been working for so many years and have little to nothing to really like show for it. And so I think we all know the deal. Like we all understand what everyone's role is in the thing, like, and we all respect each other, and we all just really enjoy being with each other, and I think that there's a real difference between like a band that is good friends and starts a band and a band that it comes together to play music and then becomes good friends. Right. Like, and I think that has proved in my experience to be better. Mm-hmm. Because I've been in so many bands with my best friends, and then it's taxing on the friendship eventually. It's, it becomes an emotional thing, a personal thing when you say, I don't like what you're doing. Like, I hate what you're doing. It becomes like one of my best friends, like we were in a band together, and you really couldn't, like, I couldn't tell him, like, hey, I don't think you should play that, because it was like, well, that's the part I wrote for it. It was a personal attack almost. So this band isn't like that at all, and on top of that, it's like the most talented guys I've ever played with. Mm-hmm. Like Matt is crazy talented. Jeff is the best drummer I've ever played with. Tommy is just always around. And no, like Tommy's insanely talented too. It won't go away.
Well, it sounds like you found the right chemistry with this group, and it comes across in the live show too.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's one thing that I've always enjoyed about our live show is that now that I can count, we can count on each other to play well consistently, and when you can do that, like, you really can just enjoy being up there together a lot more.
Somebody's got your back. Somebody, you can try things, and they're going to follow you.
And with these guys and the way that we all just kind of operate and exist together, it's easy to find that balance between like giving 110% all the time and not taking yourself too seriously, because that's a weird thing to walk. But I think we're managing to do it so far.
So how do you guys work together when you are recording songs? Because I know you write most of the songs, but how do they sort of come in to that?
Well, as every record we've had before the EP, it's like I would use GarageBand and do a demo, and a pretty fleshed out demo. Like, I would play the drums and put everything on it and kind of experiment with it quite a bit before the guys ever heard it. And with a lot of that, it was a lot of just learning the part and playing it all together. And when we started playing them live, like, there would be a little bit of experimentation that things would kind of change and mold to more of a full band arrangement, but really not that much, because they were learning their parts and it's already pretty set in stone. With EP, we had most of it was that way, but one or two of the songs, like, we didn't have any previous recordings of. We just went in and kind of like worked them up together from scratch. Hold My Head Above the Water was one, and Biblical Sense of the Word was the other. And those two didn't have demos at all. So what we're doing now is we're writing for the third record now, and what we've decided to do is not do any more demos. At least there's not any like developed ones. Just Like I've done a couple just like scratch tracks with
Right.
vocals, but just kind of work together to really shape them from start to finish instead of me coming in and saying like, this is what I want. Like, and it's been really great. And I think that's the other difference with this lineup is that I really feel like I can trust the guys in the band to have really good opinions and stuff that is going to work for everyone.